Good morning. I'm Aaryan Khullar, and I am joined with Professor Vikas Sangwan. Professor, I would like you to introduce yourself.
Good morning, Aryan. And I'm Professor Vikas Sangwan. I teach I teach in area of accounting and finance at the Jindal Global Business School, and I did my Ph.D. from IIT-Kanpur, and I'm working in the area of corporate finance. I also have a research interest as well as teaching interest in entrepreneurial finance, and I have been mentoring some of my firms for the past 6-7 years.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Professor. So talking about entrepreneurship, what do you think an entrepreneur should do when he or she is facing self-doubt or financial losses?
Again, I think these are two questions mixed in a single question. So one is that the doubts, self-doubt which you are talking about. So I think it's quite common. It's quite obvious that because when you are starting entrepreneurial venture, so there may be failures, and you may find a lot of instances, not a single instance. There may be a lot of instances where you can think of that the directions I'm going is not right even on small things. So it's quite common, but one should not be bogged down with these self-doubts. One should be resilient, I think, for that. The second part was about financial losses. So even financial losses are expected from a entrepreneurial venture. So I don't find any single, maybe there may be a very single one or two firms, in hundreds of these firms that who are successful from day one. So it is expected. So even the venture capitalist or someone who is going to fund the firm, even they understand that in the initial phase there may be financial losses. So an entrepreneur should not be bogged down with financial losses. It is absolutely normal. It is expected out of it.
Exactly. For an entrepreneur to begin his journey, there might be downs and ups. So so one must not give up after just one downside of his life.
And not only single down, there may be say 100 downs.
100 downs.
See, there are three qualities of a entrepreneur, which I think are very essential. One is that he should be resilient enough. So when I say resilient, so I'm specifically talking about the failures and self-doubt which you asked. So one should be resilient. One should never bog down with the failures. The second thing is one should be risk taker. So that's why we call him an entrepreneur. Okay. Otherwise, if he's not taking an risk, so he can go to he can invest their money to some banks or where he can get fixed return out of his investment. And the third thing is basically this is a long journey, so the horizon may be long, so one should not be bogged down with initial failure. So one should always think of one should always think that the target which he is going to achieve or he want to achieve as a entrepreneurial venture, as an entrepreneur, should be like short term, medium term, and long term. So the vision should be on say 2 or 3 years. Okay, there may be failures, or he can compare with other ventures or other colleagues that he is successful, and I am not. But it's a long journey, so one should be visionary in that sense.
Yeah, so exactly. Some startups progress massively, rapidly, and some might take their own time. So it depends on the pace, and so one must not just fall down and give up hope because of comparing them with their other colleagues or other startups. Something like that.
And you are absolutely, Aryan, in that sense. For example, even the area which an entrepreneur and his entrepreneurial venture is in also plays a significant role. For example, in IT phase, in IT sector or a software company, there may be ups and downs in near term. So the company may be successful in near future. The company may fail in near future. But if you talk about manufacturing firm or so a manufacturing firm may take longer time. So the gestation period is longer. So for example, I should say that if one should divide a firm into its life cycle stages. So for a IT or software company, the life cycle, that is the introduction and the growth phase, they are shorter. Even the maturity and decline phases are shorter. But if you compare with manufacturing firm, the introduction and growth stage can take longer time. And I'm not talking about maturity or decline stage, because the one thing which is everyone is focused on is the successful, whether the firm will be successful in the initial days, that is in the introduction or growth phase. If it is if passes these two phases, then growth, maturity and decline stages are where we reap the benefits of our investment and whatever efforts we have put.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. So, just out of curiosity, if I can entrepreneur, I think I have an idea that I think will work. So, but, I'm like, of course, not sure of that idea. So would you suggest like to first implement it and look for the results, or would you actually, suggest something else? Like I have an idea and I'm not sure if that idea will actually work or no. So what would you suggest?
So, this is what my thinking is, or what I have experienced is that people who are entrepreneurs, they are not normal person. They are eccentric persons or mad people. Okay, so one should not expect anything from a mad person. Okay, or so he should not wait whether I should test it and I should then find whether it's successful or not. Then I'll invest money. No. Entrepreneur will be the one who is really who is really loving his idea day and night. Okay, and he will never thought of whether of this thing that it can be failure, so I should not put money or I should not put effort. So if it is thinking like that, I think I have serious doubt on his skill as an entrepreneur.
All right.
So don't wait, just do whatever you want. So there may be failures, but one more thing which I should add on: to be a successful entrepreneur, one should always be flexible. So there may be failures. This is 100% sure that you will find failures in your this thing in your journey of as an entrepreneur. So you should not be bogged down. You should always learn from the mistakes which you have done. So one should be flexible enough in terms of his philosophy, in terms of his attitude to do business, or one should basically learn from the mistakes. He should not be rigid enough that this is the right path, and even if I'm getting losses by going on this path, I should not change. One should also change. One should also look for other avenues in terms of where I have gone wrong.
Yeah, so exactly. So for an entrepreneur, one should keep in mind first a goal that he has to achieve, and if he cannot achieve that goal, if he thinks he cannot achieve that goal, that mindset doesn't work. So he has to do that, or he or she has to do that.
Aaryan, I don't think that there is anything in the world which you can't achieve. So if you have put a goal, if you put right effort, so it's about the effort which you are putting. If the effort is not up to mark, you will be a failure. Otherwise, if you are putting your effort 100% and over a longer period of time, it's not about you are putting effort for 1 year and you said that I have put a lot of effort, every time I have failed, so I should be I should quit this particular thing. But I don't think so. Entrepreneur is always a resilient person who will always fight back.
All right. All these ideas and your ideologies actually helped me like cover up this next question I was about to ask about the mindset of an entrepreneur. But yeah, this was very insightful. And for me, even like if I need motivation, I can just go back to this recording and listen to it again. And yeah, so thank you so much joining me today.